that Britain will send aid to ease the suffering of the Kurdish refugees, and Margaret Thatcher has urged the government to organise an airlift of food, clothing and tents. Louise Bevan has the details.
As Mr Major left a football match last night, he refused to be drawn on his earlier statement announcing his intention to provide aid for the Kurds. News the government is pressing for Turkey to open her borders to the refugees coincided with a hard-hitting plea from Mrs Thatcher for immediate help.
It should not be beyond the wit of man to get planes there with tents, with food, and with warm blankets and warm clothes.
Outside the American Embassy in London, a group from the Kurdish community here are staging a hunger strike, making emotional pleas for military intervention by Western forces.
Why not they're saving the Kurdish people, Kurdish women, Kurdish children? They can stop Saddam easily.
Despite last night's freezing temperatures, the resolve of these Kurdish campaigners to continue their hunger strike around the clock hasn't weakened. They can perhaps take heart that diplomatic moves in the last 24 hours have at least produced an undertaking by the British government to do all it can to ease the suffering. Louise Bevan, TVAM News at the American Embassy.
On to the financial news.
From a few hundred people to about 7,000 or 9,000 is the last figure I heard late last night, and they're still streaming over. So on every border with Iraq, the people are fleeing, desperate to escape, and that will continue to be a massive problem on the border with Kuwait.
Beatrice, thanks very, very much for speaking to us this morning. Will, of course, been left to their fate by the international community. Western journalists who've been to Kurdistan are returning with the most appalling stories of human suffering. Amongst them is Harvey Morris, Deputy Foreign Editor of The Independent. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thanks very much for joining us this morning. Well,